here with Cliff Keene Wrestling Club coach Andy Hrovat. Andy, we've grown the size of our club over the last couple months. Can you talk about the addition of Brandon Priest, the addition of BJ Futrell, and what they bring to the club?
Well, I mean, it's definitely nice to fill a weight that we didn't have. So now Brandon is going to be wrestling 57 kilos for us, and he's a great addition. He's worked with Herbert at Northwestern, and he's been one of the top guys in the U.S. And hopefully with that and the knowledge that I have and the skill sets I have, I'll be able to help him improve and get him to where he wants to be. Which right now it's he wants to be on a world team this year, and that's our goal for him. And then we also added BJ Futrell, right after Brandon, and BJ's awesome. He's young, comes from the same program as Jimmy Kennedy, and so those two are also in the same weight class. They know each other. And BJ kind of connects the gap, just because Jimmy's a little bigger than him, a little older, and he's established. So BJ kind of bridges the gap between Brandon, and Jimmy, and then also Kellen. So with those guys, our lightweights are unbelievable. And then they also have Josh Trella training and thinking about competing at 70 kilos. So we're pretty stacked from 70 kilos down, and we're real excited to have those new guys. And the best part about it is that someone like Kellen Russell and Jimmy Kennedy, who have been in my system for a year and a half now, they're able to help the new guys out, and they're going to be able to speed them along. And it was the same thing I always talked about when Jimmy showed up here and Kellen was a senior, and then Jimmy had a year on him, and then he was able to help Kellen learn the system and get into the training a lot faster. Mm-hmm. And that's what's going to happen with BJ and Brandon. So their learning curve is just going to skyrocket as we get ready for the U.S. Open in April.
All right, and then we had several guys compete over the last couple of months, and a lot of them found a good amount of success. So how pleased are you with their progress, I guess, early in 2014? And give us a quick rundown of how you think each guy did.
Yeah, I did. I think we did really well. We had two guys compete at the Schultz, and we had Kyle Massey and Brandon Prieston. Kyle's been mostly focusing on his training and getting back into the freestyle aspect. He just had a couple years off, but he has a great training partner and Adam Kuhn, and so those two guys are able to train and push each other and get better. So when Massey's getting ready for the U.S. Open, he's going to have confidence that he's been training with one of the best athletes in the country. So he has that going for him, and he's getting better every day. So that's awesome, and he's such a hard worker, and he's bought into the system, and he's doing everything he needs to. And then Brandon didn't have the success at the Schultz that he wanted. He was still kind of in the process of moving here and getting his weight down after the break, but. With the training that he had leading up to there, he was able to continue that training, and he ended up going to Cuba along with Kellen Russell, and he was able to take bronze there, and Kellen was second. They both lost to, Kellen was third, and they both lost to the champion, and Brandon lost a 1-1 match, and so he's right there, and the Cubans, the guys who are winning that tournament are some of the best in the world. And then we also had Jimmy Kennedy, who's continued his awesome year this year. He had his second tournament victory. In doing so, he beat the 8th ranked and the 15th ranked wrestler in the country. I want to say the 15th ranked wrestler in the country is the second time beating him. And he's not that it matters that he's not ranked, but Jimmy's right now, he's one of the top wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
And, for us, it's great knowing that, and because he's seen the map to success and he knows exactly where to go. He's been able to go over there. He had a training camp there before the tournament, and so now he's able to see how all these other teams train and compete, and he has that mental edge now because he knows that he's doing everything right in his training, but he knows that he's more disciplined in his training, and that is what separates the top guys at that level, because with discipline comes the mental strength to show you and to prove that what I've done with my training, that it's going to transfer over to wrestling, and I know that there'll be success. And so they're not double guessing, they're not doubting themselves. They know they're prepared every time they go out on the mat, when we get done with the training camps. So that's been great with Jimmy.
Well, and you were out there with him.
Yes.
He really, controlled every single one of his matches. Is that the expectation now for him?
Oh, absolutely, because he's always had. So there's a couple ways you could win in wrestling, but you have to be well-rounded enough. You don't have to be exceptional. But, Jimmy has, the key factor that you can't teach anybody is world-class speed, because you are born with a finite number of fast-twitch muscles, and fortunately for Jimmy, he has more of those. So his strength, he's able to be strong enough, but he's even a little stronger than strong enough. And, he knows his position work, and he's got great balance, but what separates him is his world-class speed, and since he's so proficient in all these positions, that his speed is just taking him to the next level. And Kellen also has the same thing. Kellen has the speed and balance, world-class, off the charts. And for him to be able to go down and see those Cubans, because those are the Cubans are definitely the top 1% in the sport of wrestling in all athletic ability. They just have a system that's trained to, develop the athletic talent first and then teach them wrestling. And it shows. And, it was a great eye-opener for Kellen, and he's going to be right there with all the Eastern European wrestlers, and some of the Asian wrestlers. But it was great for him to go see the Cuban wrestlers, because that is part of the style that he kind of wrestles, with that explosiveness and his balance. And he reminds me of the stuff he can do is what Salas did to myself and Jake, when he was beating us up. And then lastly, Brandon went to BJ went to Belarus, which was an awesome tournament to go to. I've wrestled there a few times.
First overseas trip.
Yeah, overseas trip. He was able to, I think he lost to the champion, but he was able to come back, and he took a bronze medal match. He beat some good wrestlers along the way. And, one of the hardest parts of making that transition from college to the senior level is learning how to win, because I tell people all the time, we know all the same moves. Like, the same moves that win at the Olympic level are the same moves that win at the NCAA level. It's a single, it's a high crotch, it's a double leg, front headlock, and a go behind. And we're all proficient at that, but it sometimes when we go from the NCAAs, it's the same thing when you go from high school to college. You put them on a pedestal a little bit, but you have to realize now, that they know all the same moves. They're as athletic as you are. And now it's just about building that confidence. And for BJ to be able to do that on his first trip, to know that he could go compete and win, is huge, because now he's going to have that expectation every time he goes. It's not, it's a learning experience, I didn't do well, I'm going to chalk it up. He now believes every time he goes overseas, he's going to be able to compete and win. And that, moving forward, is such a big confidence booster.
All right, next up is World Cup. You're leaving in just a couple days to go out to LA. Join Kellen and Jimmy out there. You were in Iran with Jimmy last year at the World Cup. What are you looking to see out of the team this year? Obviously, we had a good success last year, so you want to see another step forward.
For the U.S. team?
Or for the U.S. team.
Oh, absolutely. We have the goal of going there to win it. We have a great team. We've had a great team with a lot of success. Our club team, we had 4 guys wrestle overseas. We had 4 medals. We had a 100% success rate. You can't get any better than that. And obviously we would have liked to have 4 champions, but 4 medals overseas at top tournaments is a step in the right direction. But then you look at the other guys in the U.S. that were able to do stuff. The Nick Maribels, the Jordan Burroughs, and you have all these people that are having success, and we're able to keep that moving. Zeke's done such a great job managing the team, making sure they're going to the right competitions for them. They're seeing the right people. We get so many overseas training camps throughout the year. BJ was at a camp in Belarus, Kellen was at a camp in Cuba, Jimmy was at a camp in Turkey. And when we're able to see all those foreigners, they don't become so foreign. They're just, they become like us. They're wrestlers. We're all wrestlers. And so, you break down those barriers, and, now when we're able to compete against them, we're competing against just wrestlers. And so now we're even a playing field out a little bit. And, we have our advantage is, we're home. So we have, our biggest match in our pool is Iran, on soil. It's going to be great meat. You know, and they came in New York City last year, and they kind of pushed us around a little bit. But you know, the U.S. fan base is going to get a very, you know, shocking view of what wrestling is, because those Iranians wrestle. You know, American fans are like, oh, we're the toughest, we push the pace, we do this, we're physical. Well, they haven't seen the Iranian wrestling team, because those wrestlers are as physical as anybody on the planet. And you know, there's going to be a huge crowd in LA, and that's going to be a turning point. You know, they're the returning world champs, and we want to be the world champs. You know, and we want to be the world champ before 2016. It's our goal. We have 2 more years to do it. We have Uzbekistan this year. We have Las Vegas next year. So it's going to be a good stepping stone, and it's going to be a great and exciting World Cup.
Do you think we've closed the gap over the last year? I guess you don't necessarily see them, you know, every day, so you don't know exactly where they're at. But do you think we're closing the gap on them?
With the Iranians?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. You know, I just saw them in Turkey, and you know, they have something that we don't have, and you know, a lot of American wrestling fans, you know, may get mad at me for saying this, but they wrestle with pride, and we don't a lot. You know, because they have such I mean, it shows. You know, look at the videos of, you know, the Iranian League matches. Look at the videos of the World Cup, and you see those fans going crazy in the stands, and you think those guys, they're wrestling with their heart, and they're wrestling with their mind, and they have 15,000 people screaming behind them. You know, we get that American sense of toughness in certain positions, like, you know, you have the Iowas, you have, you know, Oklahoma State, you have Minnesota, you have Penn State, you have all those people rising to the occasion at the NCAA meet, you know, because it's the environment. But we don't get that on the senior circuit, so sometimes our guys kind of forget that. But those Iranians, they're put in that situation because they all wrestle in the Iran League. They all wrestle, you know, in big tournaments in Iran where the fans are going crazy. But you know, it's America versus the American mentality, which is, you know, we have been getting beat on our own mentality against, you know, the team from Iran, and that to me, it doesn't sit well, and it shouldn't sit well with the rest of the American fans.
So looking forward, you know, after World Cup, and Kellen and Jimmy are out there. Have you heard whether or not they're wrestling matches yet?
For
Mm-hmm.
for the World Cup?
Yeah.
No, they're in training camp, Colorado, and then
Beyond that, U.S. Open is kind of around the corner too. So what's the plan once you get kind of everybody back in the room to prepare for that?
we've had a sporadic